Now, Sage, when you and William are intimate together, William, are you still able to have children?
Actually, as yes and no. I After sorting hormones, I no longer have a normal what a cisborn female would have as menstruation, and it is capable. No, I have not had a hysterectomy, but it would be an act of miracle to be frank. And honestly, we've had the discussion, and as somebody raised in a Christian household,
that we have, by the grace of God, still the old guard, is because these people have these entertainers have paved the way. They know the fight. They understand the cost, and they're willing to pay it. But they were also never afforded the opportunity to make the money like these entertainers today do. You know, this is what they know, and by the grace of God, we have them and are able to rely on them because they stay at the forefront to fight. They yell when nobody else yells, when everyone wants us to be silent. Our community guard, as I would call them, are still there.
Wonderful. Well, that's wonderful. I wanted to say that because, me being on the internet so much and trying to, our mailboxes is full every day with people wanting to share their stories and talk about the stories. But she made it really clear to me the direction we're going to take Pronoun TV in. And it needs to be about real life and real stories and what's happening now and what we have to do to make sure that we're going to be okay in the future, to make sure that our voice are being loud and heard. Because now we're getting this thing here, this thing online about Black men. And I'm gonna say it to you, William, as a man, as you identify as a man now, and then you, Sage, as as a Black woman. This masculine and feminine thing has really taken over the internet about men on the DL and this masculine feminine thing. What do you feel about that?
So at the end of the day, I feel like gender is always going to be a spectrum. I'm going to respect you however you want to present. I don't agree with hypermasculinity because I think it's toxic, nor do I agree with hyper femininity because I feel like it's also toxic, because I feel like those extremes have been ingrained in their families at some point, where a hyper femininity might mean I'm willing to forego it all to just rely on a man to take care of me, or that type of toxic hyper masculinity being well, I am better than you because I am almighty man. And it's hard when it is a spectrum, and it's where can we go from here to decide it's okay as a man to show emotion, have emotion, express emotion, to where you don't get to the point where we get shootings and mental health needs like that, which is often in this country predominantly Caucasian males. And then in the same spectrum of females, stand up for yourself, because when you were called in the workforce as Rosie the Riveter and asked to go back home, not every woman went back home and they took charge and took lead. There is always a good in between, and we just got to find that ground.
When it comes to the thing, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. When it comes to the DL thing, coming from the African American community,
because I won't deal with it.
I've always felt like, and I've dealt with my share of DL men. Of course I have. Most girls in my situation at some point do. And those who don't are either really lucky or lying. But with that being said, when it comes to DL men, it's not always about the lie. That's the misconception about DL men. It's not about the lie always. Oftentimes, these men are not even allowed to be in safe spaces where they can be who they are for fear of being vilified by their community, meaning the African American community. You have men that would proudly walk in the day with the people that they love, but what do they lose? They'll lose their family, the respect
Their
of their
friends, their
friends
brotherhood.
and their community, you know. So it's a very hard road for oftentimes a DL man to walk, you know, not to excuse their behavior,
Right.
but to give some understanding, because I've known more than my fair share of DL men who always have spoken about what they stood to lose. And they just don't want to lose their families. They don't want to lose their kids or even the respect of their parents, most importantly, you know. So,
and not to cut either of you off, you know, like I have actually had this conversation with her. I've had African American DL men approach me on a multitude of occasions because they'll start the question because, you know, they're very good at clocking because I'm a little bit shorter. And so sometimes they'll be sometimes they'll be like, are you one of those boys? And I go, what do you mean one of those boys? And they go, you know, and I go, I am, but I appreciate it and I'm not interested. And it's hard row to toe because I respect that that's something they want and are used to somebody who has maybe my genitalia, but it's a hard row to toe because, like I said, I don't like to deal with it because I don't want you to live in shame and fear. That makes me feel guilty for you feeling like you have to be DL because of the way you were raised and the community in which you were raised.
You know, I want to say this conversation was very interesting today. You guys are an amazing couple, and I am really glad that we didn't follow the script today. And she's glad too that we didn't follow the script today. And you guys are amazing. I want to say thank you, William Henry and Sage Summers, for being on the show today. You educated us a lot. And I want to say to the audience out there, I want to just say, live your life. Live your life. Be who you want. Be who you are and just live it every day loudly and proudly. That's the only way you can get the respect that you want, is to constantly make sure that people respect you and you respect them, and you just keep it moving. And William Henry and Sage Summers, I want to say thank you guys so much for doing the show today. You educated us a lot. Congratulations, William, on just being who you are.
Thank you.
Sage, you for, you know, accepting William for who he is and understanding where your relationship is. And I like the fact that
don't let that face fool you. He's pushing.
And the fact that you guys communicate. This is an amazing thing. Communication is key to any relationship. And the fact that you're open and honest with each other. And I like that. I like strong, smart
experience and age. It comes with it. Because sometimes life throws some things at your way you don't expect, and you learn and you grow.
There you go.
Like
now,
I said,
I want to say
our love can't overcome.
I'm glad that the two of you talk everything out, and you talk with sense, and the fact that you, Sage, are getting an education now, because you know down the road there's going to be some challenges with drag.
Right.
Some real challenges if they keep pushing this stuff through. We can't go out and do shows like we used to. I mean, how can we can barely afford to make a living with a lot of the entertainers. I mean, they're lucky that they're making the money that they're making these days, but soon they're going to have to hire people like celebrities do to protect them. And in the long run, is all of this going to be worth it? And how do we, get people on the same page as us when it comes to entertainment, and understanding that this is just entertainment. It's just like, I'm a stand-up comedian. For years here in Canada, they silenced me. They because they said that I was filling the rooms up, but they were complaining so much that I had a filthy mouth or this and that. And at the end of the day, I've been here 35 years and I'm still working, and now I own a company. So I am just lucky I
They
mean,
said
I'm
curse
lucky.
words just are make a colorful vocabulary and highly intelligent people know them. That's a scientific fact.
So I want to say thank you guys so much for doing the show today. And once it
Question for you, Stephanie. When are you going to pack up and come do a Pronoun TV show live from Indianapolis?
Come see us.
we can do that in the summer. When is the summer there?
It's the same as most places. It's basically June through end of August.
Well, why don't we talk about that?
Come party with us. Come
Yes,
party
ma'am.
with
I
us.
will. We will talk about that. We'll come right on down there. I like that. I like that. Look at you.
We have a couple other couples that are very interesting that I think you would enjoy talking
And
to.
we talked about you to them. So and
As
they have
well.
entirely different dynamics than we do that you will love.
Wonderful. Well, you know what? I promise. I promise I will reach out to you and we will do it.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
will. Okay. Thank you guys so much for being on the show today. Thank you everyone out there in the world of television and the internet. Take care of yourselves. Be safe, be smart, and just keep it moving. And remember, be who you are and be loud and proud. Thank you so much, William Henry and Sage Summers today on Pronoun TV and the Stephanie Stevens Show. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
That was great.